We now have our API management instance deployed. Let's take a look at how we can utilize policies to manage the API request. One of the more powerful features of API management is the ability to manage traffic that is passed to your backend services. Without any policies in place, an API request that comes in that reaches the API gateway will be passed unaltered to the backend services. With the policy configured, we can review the request and make alterations to both the incoming request as well as the outgoing response. Policies can be defined at multiple levels within API management. These include the following scopes. Global, so this would mean all items within the API management instance. Product covers a specific product that you have configured within API management. API covers a specific API within the product. And then operation is a specific request of that API. As you have policies configured, there can be some conflicts. So policies are applied in the same order in which they are listed. This means that if you have two policies with the same setting type, say IP restrictions, the one that is applied last will be the winning policy. You can view the effective or combined policy under the policy editor. When applying policies in API management, you can do it using a GUI-based editor. Additionally, since the policies are written in XML format, you can easily edit them directly using XML. Some examples of ways that we can define a policy include IP filters to restrict who can utilize the API, rate limit to prevent overrunning the backend service, URI rewrites so we can modify how the request is sent to the backend service, validate JWT tokens, and authenticate the backend service so that the incoming request doesn't need to worry about managing any of that information. As you can see in this example, on the inbound policy, we have an IP filter. We're using this to restrict who can access our API. On the outbound side, we are setting the content type to application JSON. In this demo, let's see how we can configure a policy within Azure API Management. Now we're back in the portal with our Skylines APIM API Management instance open. Let's go down and take a look at our products. So if we look at our product, we're just going to go ahead and select the starter one. And then here you can see we've got the APIs that are associated with it, but we also have the policies. And you can see basically the policy is just an XML file that we have set to help control how our requests and responses are handled. You can see here that we have a rate limit in place as well as a quota. So let's go ahead and leave those changes by default. So now if we go back to the APIM instance and then look at the APIs, we can select the Echo API, and then you can see here for all operations, we can have some more policies that we can define. So if we select this and add a policy, say we're just going to go ahead and IP filter, we want to add an IP address, and we're just going to go ahead and set to 10.0.0.0 and then 10.0.0.255. So we're just allowing that basically that one subnet to allow access. Let's go ahead and save. So now that we have that open, we can go down and see that IP filter here. So we just took a look at the first post operation here, and if we look at the inbound policies, you can see we've got the base policy plus the JSON to XML policy that we're adding here. Let's go ahead now and we'll just select this one, and let's go to code editor, and you can see we've basically got that defined there. One thing too that we've got now is this calculate effective policy. So if we do this, and we're going to go ahead and say for the starter, because this operation belongs to both the starter as well as the unlimited product, you can see here we have all of the policy scopes being applied. Starting at the top, we have the API scope and the product scopes listed. The operation scope is not explicitly defined, but is implied. Within the product scope, we have the rate limit and quotas. In the API scope, we have our IP filter. And in the implied operation scope, we have the JSON to XML setting. Moving down to the back end, we can see the only thing we have defined here is within the global scope, and then we have no outbound or on-air policies defined. So if we switch this to the unlimited, you can see we no longer have those rate limits defined. So our effective policy removes those rate limits. Now we just have the policies that are defined at the API level as well as the operation level. Hopefully this helps you understand how policies can be defined, how they can be configured, and then how they are inherited.